On May 31st, 2020, as the world was undergoing the pandemic, Morito Yoshitaka was driving his truck along a road in Miharu Town, Fukushima Prefecture, when he hit a man and a woman who were doing some volunteer work cleaning up. At first, this incident was thought to be a hit and run, an unfortunate incident where the driver of the truck accidentally hit two people, and then, scared, fled the scene. But it soon turned out that wasn't the case at all. When police finally caught up with Morito, he revealed something surprising. He did it on purpose. Why? Because I want to go back to prison. Shortly before 8 a.m. on May 31st, 55-year-old company employee Hashimoto Shigeru and 52-year-old company employee Sanpei Miho were volunteering on National Highway 288. The section of road they were cleaning up was a long straight line with good visibility in both directions. Roughly 40 people had been out mowing grass and picking up rubbish in the area since 7 a.m. The pair were walking single file on the shoulder of the road when a semi-medium truck suddenly hit them. It reportedly briefly stopped before driving away, and investigations revealed it was likely going 60 to 70 kilometers per hour at the time of the incident. Volunteers in the area immediately reported what happened to the police, and an ambulance was called, but the pair didn't make it. Police from the Tamura office immediately set out to find the truck, and it didn't take them long. They found it parked roughly 15 kilometers from the accident, with the front end badly damaged. They then arrested the driver, Morito Yoshitaka, then 50, under suspicion of hit and run, causing death or injury while driving, and also for driving the truck without the appropriate license. During their initial questioning, Morito told police that he accidentally hit the pair, and then he ran away because he was scared. From that, police decided to treat it as a standard hit-and-run case, and it was sent off to the Fukushima District Public Prosecutor's Office. Generally, in hit-and-run cases where there is a loss of life, the driver can face up to 10 years in prison or a fine of up to 1 million yen. Causing a fatal accident while driving unlicensed can see the driver face up to 20 years in prison. However, it wasn't long until Morito revealed something shocking. He had just been released from prison 2 days earlier, and he mentioned that he was worried about how he would adapt to life on the outside. As such, he thought it would be better for him to go back to prison. The hit and run wasn't an accident. He did it on purpose, and, by his own admission, it didn't matter who he hit. Once police heard this, they realized they were no longer dealing with an accident, and the incident was handed over to the Criminal Investigations Department as well. When Morito left prison 2 days earlier, he stayed at a friend's house in Koriyama City. This friend ran his own company, and Morito was supposed to start working for him. However, on the morning of May 31st, Morito stole his friend's truck and drove roughly 5 kilometers to where he found the volunteers cleaning on the side of the road. Initially, he drove past them, but then his worries got the best of him, and he quickly did a U-turn and carried out his horrific plan. On June 19th, the manslaughter case against Morito was put on hold. He was arrested once more for stealing his friend's truck, and police gathered evidence to charge him with murder, which they then did on June 30th. His trial began almost a year later, on June 7th, 2021. Being that Morito had confessed to what he did, the trial wasn't about finding him guilty or innocent, but rather to determine the degree of intent he had to kill. The prosecution argued that the intent was clear beyond a doubt, while his lawyer argued that they might die, meaning they might also survive. When Morito himself was questioned during the trial and asked why he wanted to return to prison, he said, I don't have any confidence living in society. In prison, I'm guaranteed food, clothing, and shelter. Yet, when his lawyer asked him if he wished to stay in prison for a long time, he answered, "Now, I'd like to leave as soon as possible." Whether it was the urging of his lawyer or Morito himself who had a change of heart, it appeared that despite his confession, he now hoped to receive as small a sentence as possible. And when the prosecution asked him whether he thought he would receive a short sentence in exchange for 2 lives, he answered, "No, I don't think so." At this first trial, the prosecution asked for the death sentence rather than prison. After all, Morito himself confessed that it was deliberate. The judge agreed. He pointed out that Morito knew exactly what would happen when he pushed down on that accelerator, and to erase 2 lives simply so he could return to prison and get the guaranteed food, clothing, and shelter it offered was extremely selfish. Morito's lawyers immediately appealed, and in November, his second trial began. Morito only wanted to return to prison, not die himself, so this time he changed his tune and tried to play down the incident, claiming, "The victims could potentially have avoided the truck." His wording and almost shifting the blame to his victims shocked everyone. His lawyers wanted the charges downgraded to manslaughter, claiming that he didn't have any active intent to kill. He simply wanted to return to prison, and hitting someone didn't necessarily mean they would die. This, in legal terms, was the point they wanted to get across. He didn't actively set out to claim 2 lives, and according to Morito himself, he didn't think that far when it came to whether he thought the pair he hit might die or not. According to his team's legal speak, there was always the possibility they would live, and this distinction should change the punishment he received. The victims' families, of course, argued that he should be severely punished. 2 lives were erased for his selfish, thoughtless desires. They would suffer the rest of their lives because he was worried about whether he could fit back into society or not. They also argued that it was very possible he would do the same thing again if he was ever released from prison. On February 16th, 2023, roughly 2.5 years after the incident took place, the Sendai High Court quashed the initial ruling and downgraded it to life imprisonment instead. This was appealed by the prosecution, but on May 27th, 2024, the Sendai High Court rejected the appeal and the life imprisonment sentence was made final. Neither side filed another appeal, so on June 1st, the sentence was confirmed, and at present, Morito is still in prison. But what did you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.